Have you ever wondered why some people seem to navigate life with enviable ease, while others drown in a sea of stress because they don't know how to say no? Did you know that setting limits is not only healthy but essential for your well-being? A small change in how you set boundaries could be the key to transforming your life. Are you ready to discover how something so simple can have such a profound impact? In a world where we are constantly bombarded with demands and expectations, we often forget the importance of setting clear boundaries. This may seem like a minor concept, but its impact on our mental and physical health is monumental. Did you know that not setting limits can lead to a state of chronic exhaustion, stress and, in extreme cases, physical and emotional illnesses? This is where the relevance of learning to say no comes into play, of recognizing our own needs and priorities. Many of us have grown up in environments where we were taught to please others, to put their needs before our own. But what happens when this behavior becomes the norm and we begin to lose our own identity and health in the process? In this video we will explore how the lack of proper boundaries can lead to deteriorating health and, most importantly, how we can reverse this situation. We will talk about healthy habits, practical tools, and life lessons that can help us establish healthy boundaries and maintain overall well-being. Setting limits is not selfishness, it is a form of self-respect and care. I invite you to join me on this journey of discovery and personal transformation. In our journey to understand how the lack of boundaries negatively affects our health, it is essential to begin with a thorough analysis of this dynamic. The absence of clear and firm boundaries in our lives is a more common problem than we think, and its consequences can be devastating. First, let's talk about how the absence of boundaries translates into chronic stress. When we don't set clear boundaries, we tend to take on more responsibilities and commitments than we can handle. This excess load, both emotional and physical, activates our stress response system. Under normal conditions, stress is a natural and healthy response to specific situations. However, when stress becomes chronic, our body begins to suffer. From sleep problems to cardiovascular disease, the impact is real and significant. Additionally, a lack of boundaries can lead to toxic relationships and a feeling of loss of control over our own lives. This not only affects our mental health, but can also manifest itself in physical problems. The mind-body connection is powerful. Anxiety and depression can trigger or exacerbate conditions such as irritable bowel syndrome, migraines, and chronic fatigue. A crucial aspect of how the lack of boundaries makes us sick is the deterioration of our emotional health. Without boundaries, we become vulnerable to manipulation and emotional abuse. This can lead to a state of constant vigilance and anxiety, which in turn leads to a deterioration in our emotional well-being. When we don't protect our emotional space, we are leaving the door open to a world of negativity and toxicity. Another point to consider is how this affects our self-esteem and self-concept. When we constantly put the needs of others before our own, we begin to lose sight of our own value. This can lead to a vicious cycle of self-sacrifice and self-denial, where self-esteem is severely affected. Low self-esteem, in turn, is associated with a number of mental health problems, such as depression and anxiety disorders. It is also important to analyze how a lack of boundaries can lead to an unhealthy lifestyle. When we are overloaded and stressed, we are more likely to turn to unhealthy habits such as emotional eating, a sedentary lifestyle, or substance abuse as a coping mechanism. These habits can have serious consequences for our physical health, from weight gain to the development of chronic diseases. Also, it can prevent us from developing and maintaining healthy relationships. When we don't know how to set boundaries, we are more likely to find ourselves in unequal relationships where our needs and desires are constantly ignored. Not only is this detrimental to our mental health, but it can also have a negative impact on our physical health, as toxic relationships have been linked to a variety of health problems, including heart disease. Through concrete examples, we can better understand how this lack of clear boundaries affects people in their daily lives. Marta, a 35-year-old executive, never said no in her workplace. Always available, he constantly took on additional tasks. In the short term, this earned him the admiration of his colleagues and superiors. However, in the long term, the situation became unsustainable. Marta began to experience symptoms of burnout, such as insomnia, irritability, and a decrease in her efficiency at work. Her inability to set healthy boundaries at work led her to a state of chronic stress, seriously affecting her mental and physical health. Lucas, a 28-year-old young man, always had difficulty establishing limits in his personal relationships. He often gave in to the demands of his friends and partner, even when this went against his own wishes and needs. Over time, Lucas began to feel belittled and resentful, which eventually led to self-esteem issues and anxiety. Their lack of boundaries in personal relationships not only damaged their emotional well-being, but also affected their physical health, manifesting in symptoms such as chronic headaches and fatigue. These examples demonstrate how the absence of boundaries can profoundly affect health. Whether at work, in personal relationships, or in time management and self-care, failing to set healthy boundaries can lead to a significant decline in our physical and mental health. It is crucial to learn to say no, recognize our own needs, and set clear boundaries to protect our health and well-being. In the next section, we will explore effective strategies for setting and maintaining healthy boundaries in our lives. Tool number 1. Say no with confidence. Saying no with confidence is a crucial skill that takes many of us years to perfect. Often, it's like a delicate dance between our own needs and the expectations of others. It's a balancing act where, if we lean too far to one side, we could fall into the trap of pleasing others at the expense of our well-being. Let's think of this as an analogy. Imagine that your time and energy are like a glass of water. Every yes you say is like pouring a little of that water into someone else's glass. It is a generous and, sometimes, necessary act. But what happens when your glass is almost empty? Learning to say no is like knowing when to stop pouring so you don't end up with nothing. Throughout history, we have seen iconic figures who understood the power of a well-placed no. Think Rosa Parks. His no was not just a refusal to give up his seat, it was an act of resistance that resonated across generations. In our lives, although our decisions may seem less consequential, every no we say can be a powerful affirmation of our personal values and boundaries. Now, how do we cultivate the ability to say no with confidence? First, it is essential to recognize that saying no does not make you a bad or selfish person. It is a statement that you respect your own limits and needs. You can start by practicing in low-risk situations. For example, if a colleague asks you for a favor when you're overwhelmed with your own tasks, you might respond, "I'd love to help, but right now, I don't have the capacity to take on more work." It is a form of assertive communication that respects both your limits and the relationship. A useful technique is the reflective monologue. Take a moment each day to reflect on the times you said yes when you really wanted to say no. Analyze how you felt and what you could do differently next time. This exercise not only increases your awareness of your own limits, but also strengthens your ability to defend them. Also, consider using metaphors in your answers. For example, if someone asks you for something that goes beyond your limits, you can say, "I would like to help you, but right now my plate is full." It's an effective way to communicate your boundaries without seeming insensitive or disinterested. Finally, remember that saying no is an act of self-care. In life, as in art, not everything is black and white, there are nuances. Learning to say no with confidence is about understanding those nuances and acting in a way that is in harmony with your own needs and values. With practice and patience, you can become a master at the art of saying no, maintaining a healthy balance between giving to others and taking care of yourself. Tool number 2. Role modeling. In life, we often find ourselves in situations where the art of setting boundaries becomes an essential skill. It's not just about saying no, but about how we say it and the example we set by doing so. Role modeling is a powerful tool in this context. It allows us to learn and teach how to set boundaries effectively by observing and emulating those who do it well. Imagine a scenario where a team leader handles multiple requests from his colleagues. Some of these requests are reasonable, but others could overwhelm your ability to work. This leader, aware of his own limits, displays a crucial skill, the ability to discern between what he can accept and what he should reject. This art of balance not only benefits your well-being but also that of the team, avoiding burnout and maintaining a healthy work environment. Now, let's think about personal relationships. How many times have we given in to the demands of others just to avoid conflict? This is where role modeling becomes crucial. By watching how friends, family, or even public figures set boundaries, we learn valuable strategies. For example, when a friend declines an invitation to a social gathering because they need time to themselves, they are teaching us that it is okay to prioritize our well-being. Role modeling also involves a process of reflection and self-assessment. How do we react when someone sets a boundary with us? Do we respect their decision or do we take it personally? By understanding and respecting the boundaries of others, we strengthen our own abilities to set them. Furthermore, this tool is essential in raising children. Children learn by imitation, and when they see their parents or caregivers setting limits in healthy ways, they learn to do the same. This doesn't just apply to saying no, but also how we say it, firmly, but not aggressively. In a world where overwork and constant social demands can push us to the brink of burnout, learning through role modeling becomes a vital strategy. It teaches us to value our time, energy, and emotional well-being. Additionally, by witnessing others successfully manage their boundaries, we feel more empowered to do the same. In short, role modeling is not just a tool for setting boundaries, it's a life lesson. It teaches us to balance our needs with those of others, to communicate our decisions respectfully, and to learn from those around us. By adopting this tool, we not only improve our boundary-setting skills, but we also foster an environment of mutual respect and understanding in all of our interactions. Tool number 3. Support network. The importance of a strong support network in setting healthy boundaries cannot be understated. A support network is like a lighthouse in the storm, providing guidance, comfort, and perspective when we face challenges in defining our personal boundaries. This support can come from friends, family, colleagues, or even online support groups or communities. When we struggle to set boundaries, especially in difficult situations like at work or in complicated personal relationships, having someone to talk to can make a big difference. These people can offer a valuable outside perspective, helping us see the situation from a different angle. Sometimes when we are too emotionally involved in a situation, we lose the ability to see things clearly. This is where a support network can step in to provide that needed clarity. For example, consider a situation in which someone feels pressured to constantly work overtime due to the expectations of a demanding boss. By discussing this situation with friends or family, you may gain a different perspective. Their loved ones can remind them of the importance of work-life balance and encourage them to communicate their boundaries to the boss. Additionally, this tool can provide emotional validation. Often when we set boundaries, we can feel guilty, especially if we are used to pleasing others. Talking to someone who understands and supports our decisions can help us feel safer and less guilty. In some cases, people in our network may have been through similar situations. Their experiences and how they handled those situations can be a source of learning and motivation. They can share practical tips on how they communicated their boundaries and how they handled negative responses. It is vital to remember that this network is not there just to offer advice. Sometimes all we need is a sympathetic ear, someone to simply listen without judgment as we express our frustrations and anxieties. This simple act of being heard can be incredibly freeing and therapeutic. This network can also act as an accountability system. They can help us stay true to our boundaries and remind us why we set them in the first place, especially when we start to falter. Building and maintaining a support network is a crucial tool in the process of establishing and maintaining healthy boundaries. It gives us strength, perspective, and validation, allowing us to navigate the complexities of our daily interactions with greater confidence and self-awareness. With the right support, the art of setting boundaries becomes a less overwhelming and more manageable task. Tool number 4. Planning and prioritization. Planning and prioritization emerge as essential tools for establishing effective boundaries in our lives. This strategy focuses on time management and personal organization, which are crucial to maintaining a healthy balance between work, personal relationships, and your own time. To begin, efficient planning involves clearly identifying our goals and objectives, both short and long term. This helps us visualize where we want to go and what we need to do to get there. By having a clear idea of our goals, we can begin to prioritize in a way that reflects our values and needs. A fundamental aspect of planning is creating a schedule or calendar. This isn't just writing down meetings or deadlines, it's about consciously blocking out time for our personal activities, hobbies, and downtime. For example, if exercise is important to us, we should schedule regular training sessions in our calendar, treating them with the same seriousness as a work meeting. Prioritizing also means learning to identify which tasks or activities are most urgent or important. This may require us to learn to say no to certain requests or to delegate tasks that are not essential to our goals. In the workplace, for example, this could mean turning down an extra project when we're already overloaded, or asking for help when needed. A crucial element in this tool is the establishment of SMART, specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and temporal goals. These goals provide us with clear guidance and help us stay focused. By setting SMART goals, we are better able to discern which tasks bring us closer to our goals and which are distractions or unnecessary demands on our time and energy. Additionally, regularly reviewing our priorities is important. What was important 6 months ago may not be important now. This constant review ensures that our actions and how we spend our time are aligned with our current values and goals. They also play an important role in stress management. By having a clear plan and knowing what's next, we can reduce anxiety and feelings of being overwhelmed. This allows us to focus on one task at a time, knowing that we have allocated time for other tasks and responsibilities. It is essential to be flexible in our planning. Life is unpredictable, and sometimes plans must change. Flexibility allows us to adapt to these situations without feeling like we have lost control or sacrificed our limits. Planning and prioritization are powerful tools for setting healthy boundaries. They help us manage our time and resources effectively, ensuring that our actions are in line with our goals and values. With careful planning and conscious prioritization, we can create a healthy balance in our lives, keeping stress at bay and promoting our overall well-being. Tool number 5. Role-playing games. Incorporating role-playing into our boundary-setting strategies can be surprisingly effective. This technique, often used in training and therapy, allows us to rehearse situations where we need to assert our boundaries, offering us a safe opportunity to practice and develop confidence in our communication skills. When we talk about role-playing games, we refer to the simulation of real situations in a controlled environment. For example, we could practice saying no to an unreasonable request from a friend or how to ask a colleague to respect our workspace. In this safe context, we can experiment with different responses and communication techniques, learning from the experience without the consequences that might arise in a real situation. One of the most significant benefits of this tool is that it allows us to explore and understand our emotions and reactions in different scenarios. By acting as ourselves or as another person in a role play, we can gain perspective on how our behaviors and words are perceived by others. This helps us adjust our communication to be clearer and more effective. Additionally, these exercises offer a valuable opportunity to receive constructive feedback. If we practice with a therapist, a coach, or even a trusted friend, they can give us their perspective on how our words and actions are received. This feedback can be crucial to improving our boundary-setting skills. Regular practice through these games also prepares us mentally and emotionally for difficult situations. Having previously rehearsed how to handle these situations, we feel more prepared and confident when facing similar circumstances in real life. This preparation can decrease the anxiety and stress that often accompany setting boundaries, especially in high-pressure or emotionally charged situations. Another important aspect of role-playing games is that they allow us to experiment with different communication styles. We can try being direct, empathetic, firm, or even humorous, and see which style feels most natural and effective for us. This variety gives us a wider range of tools to use in different contexts and with different people. By practicing in a safe environment, we can learn to manage negative reactions or resistance in a calmer and more focused way. This is especially helpful for people who tend to avoid conflict or who feel uncomfortable enforcing their boundaries. In conclusion, role-playing games are a dynamic and versatile tool for learning to set effective limits. They offer us the opportunity to practice, receive feedback, and prepare for real situations, increasing our confidence and ability to maintain healthy boundaries in our daily lives. With practice and reflection, we can improve our communication and ultimately strengthen our interpersonal relationships and personal well-being. Tool number 6. Limits Journal. Keeping a journal specifically dedicated to recording and reflecting on our experiences with boundary setting can be a transformative tool. This simple but powerful method invites us to constant introspection and the development of a deeper awareness about how and when we set limits in our lives. Let's start with the basic concept. A boundary journal is a personal space to record situations where we have tried to set boundaries, whether successful or not. In this journal, we can write down details about the interactions we've had, how we've felt about them, and what we might do differently in the future. One of the biggest benefits of keeping this type of journal is increased self-awareness. By recording our experiences, we begin to notice patterns in our behavior. Do we tend to give in to certain people or in specific situations? Are there times when we feel safer to defend our boundaries? These insights are crucial to better understanding our own needs and how to protect them. Additionally, this reflection process helps us process emotions and thoughts that may arise when we set boundaries. We can often feel guilty, anxious, or even afraid when saying no, or asking for respect for our space and time. By writing about these experiences, we can unravel these complex emotions and work toward a clearer, healthier understanding of our needs. Another significant advantage of the boundary journal is that it serves as a tangible record of our personal growth. By reviewing old entries, we can clearly see how we have progressed in our ability to set healthy boundaries. This journal can be incredibly motivating, especially during times when we feel stuck or discouraged. The act of writing itself also has therapeutic benefits. Reflective writing has been shown to reduce stress and improve emotional well-being. By taking time to write in our journal, we are taking a safe space for ourselves, an act of self-care that reinforces the importance of our personal boundaries. This journal can be a useful tool for discussing our experiences with a therapist or counselor. It can serve as a starting point for conversations about how we are getting better at setting boundaries and areas we still need to work on. To conclude, a limit journal is more than just a record of events, it is a tool of empowerment and reflection. It helps us develop a better understanding of ourselves, our needs, and how we can protect and respect those boundaries in our daily interactions. By committing to this practice regularly, we strengthen our ability to care for ourselves and foster healthier, more respectful relationships. Tool number 7. Therapy. Seeking therapy is a critical step for those struggling to establish healthy boundaries in their life. This tool not only offers a safe space to explore personal difficulties, but also provides professional guidance to develop effective boundary management strategies. First, it is essential to recognize that reaching out to a therapist or counselor is not a sign of weakness, but rather an act of courage and self-care. These professionals are trained to help people navigate complex emotions and situations by providing a supportive, non-judgmental environment. One of the key benefits of therapy in the context of setting boundaries is the ability to understand the roots of our difficulties. Many times, the inability to set effective boundaries can be rooted in past experiences, deep-rooted beliefs, or subconscious fears. A therapist can help us unravel these underlying factors, providing clarity and direction for change. In addition, it offers personalized tools and techniques. Each individual faces unique challenges when it comes to setting boundaries. A therapist can work with us to develop strategies that fit our specific circumstances, whether it's learning to say no, managing guilt, or strengthening our self-esteem. Another significant advantage is the opportunity to practice and model assertive communication in a safe environment. People are often unsure how to express their needs and boundaries without feeling aggressive or fearful. A therapist can guide you in developing effective communication skills, essential for establishing healthy boundaries. It can also be invaluable to those who have experienced toxic or abusive relationships, where boundaries have been systematically violated. In these cases, therapeutic work can be crucial in rebuilding self-confidence and learning to protect yourself from future boundary violations. It is important to remember that the therapeutic process is a journey, not a destination. Learning to set and maintain healthy boundaries is a work in progress, and having a trusted therapist on this journey can make a significant difference in your success. In conclusion, Therapy is a powerful tool for those who struggle to set effective boundaries in their lives. It provides a safe, supportive space to explore and overcome personal challenges, and offers personalized strategies and skills to foster healthy boundaries. By committing to this process, we take a vital step towards greater mental health and more balanced relationships. If this video has given you something new, if it has made you think or feel differently, help us to continue growing by subscribing, leaving your like and activating the bell. This helps us to continue growing and be able to generate more quality content for well-being of everyone. As we conclude this comprehensive analysis of the importance of setting boundaries in our lives, it is evident that the art of setting boundaries is crucial to our mental, emotional, and physical health. Through exploring examples and strategies, we have discovered that boundaries are not only essential, but also absolutely achievable. We have traveled from understanding the consequences of not setting limits, through real cases that illustrate the dangers of this omission, to arriving at an arsenal of practical tools. These tools, which range from assertiveness in communication to therapy and planning, are beacons that illuminate the path to a more balanced and healthy life. It is important to recognize that setting limits is not an act of selfishness, but rather an act of deep self-care and respect for both oneself and others. As we continue on this journey, it is essential to remember that practice and consistency are key. Like any skill, the ability to set boundaries grows stronger with time and practice. I want to express my most sincere gratitude for joining me on this journey of self-knowledge and personal improvement. I hope the information and strategies shared here serve as a valuable resource on your own journey toward a more fulfilled and balanced life. Remember, boundaries not only protect us, they also allow us to grow and thrive in all aspects of our lives. Finally, we'd like to invite you to watch the video we've carefully selected for you. Dive into a treasure trove of tips, strategies, and thoughtful insights that will guide you in incorporating Stoic principles into your everyday life. We can't wait to see you there, dear friend, on this Stoic journey.